to discuss the meeting that took place between the ANC and the DA following the withdrawal of the 0.5 percentage point by the National Treasury. We are now joined by ANC Spokesperson Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri. She joins us now via our video link. Mahlengi, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Perhaps let's start off here. Maybe if you can just give us a bit of insight. It seems as if you both beginning to find each other as the ANC and the DA both describe the meeting that took place today as cordial.
Well, yes, you would have seen in your statement reaffirming that this meeting was a continuation of an undertaking that we had made between those two parties, the DA and the ANC, following the first round of negotiations with the DA. But it was happening in the context of consultations and negotiations with all political parties that are represented in Parliament. And I really do want to stress that. It wasn't isolated to the Democratic Alliance. And in fact, when the Democratic Alliance decided to play opposition whilst they're also in government and went to court to challenge the government they're part of, a number of other parties that are represented in the government of national unity, including parties that are not represented in the government of national unity, joined the ANC in these consultations that said, what is it that all of us can do to break the budget impasse and unite around a common agenda, which is to ensure that our nation has a budget and to ensure that government continues to work.
And would you say, when it comes to some of the issues here that you are touching on, the issues centered around the DA being part of the government of national unity, but at the same time, it seems as if they're also playing on the opposition. Are these some of the issues that you have stressed to your biggest GNU partner?
Yes, no, this meeting, of course, yes, it did speak about the matter of the budget because the focus of the meeting had to be just that, and not a number of issues that have to do, for example, with the current configuration of the GNU, the conduct of GNU partners. That meeting is still pending. We needed to just focus on how do we move the process of the budget through the parliamentary process, which we do require all political parties to be part of this effort of ensuring that we have a national budget that is adopted. So the meeting was essentially to focus on the process that is going to be unfolding in Parliament, the work that's already been initiated by the Minister of Finance, and the work that's being done through the Office of the Speaker all the way to the joint the Standing Committee on Finance and related other committees that are now going to be processing this work to ensure that finally we can have a budget.
And Mahlengi, when it comes to the relationship that you have with the Democratic Alliance in the government of national unity, you know, looking at what took place yesterday and, you know, the amount of press briefings in which we saw and the divisions between the two big parties in the GNU, would you say that this GNU is still intact?
The government of national unity is still intact. South Africa's democracy is going through a particular moment in history. And I think we've got to have a sense of measure in terms of how we look at what unfolded around the budget. Lots of lessons for the ANC, lots of lessons for the country. It's the first time that a budget has been contested. And it's the first time precisely because the ANC now co-governs with other parties, including the Democratic Alliance. And that is why the narrative by the DA, and I want to go back to this issue, the narrative by the DA that they are not supporting a number of decisions that are led in government because they want to discuss power sharing, co-governing. We are co-governing with the DA, and that is why the going to court was frowned upon. But at the same time, the ANC was very clear that we are not going to discourage the DA from going to the court. It is their democratic right. We will do what we need to do. We also need to remind South Africans what you saw yesterday, where the ANC joined by a number of parties in Parliament, saying that we are tired of the back and forth. We need to ensure that the budget is passed. We are willing to put our differences aside and our party political interests and unite around this common agenda for the sake of the people of South Africa. I think it was a genuine thing. It continues to be a genuine thing. And the ANC has been very appreciative of the collegial spirit with which a number of these parties that are represented in Parliament, with their weight that they have in Parliament, of course, that differing levels of weight, but have a significant contribute to the work of South Africa. That is why when we talk about the government of national unity, we insist that the ANC is not in a grand coalition. I listened to the analyst before. We insist that there is no grand coalition. If it was a grand coalition, it was going to be called a grand coalition. It was going to operate in that way. We are in a government of national unity that includes the African National Congress, the Action SA is outside the DA, and countless other parties that are part of the government of national unity.
And what do you make of the continued criticisms thereof when it comes, to this GNU and why it remains intact, and why some are saying that the likes of the DA, which is your biggest partner in this GNU, where there's no action that's been taken against them, while they also play, the opposition in that regard, and some of the criticism saying that, well, the GNU is only still together because of big business.
Well, we've heard of that narrative. It's not the first time, such as what we just said now from the analyst. I do know that the African National Congress is not instructed by big business. I'm not sure about the DA. The DA can speak for themselves. We do know that, of course, the DA is a party that is closer to business. The the ANC is closer to many sectors in society, but particularly the people on the ground. Big business is one of the sectors in society that play a very strategic role, and the ANC is very committed to working with business to ensure that together we can contribute towards sustaining our national democracy. But we do not take the line from big business. I'm not aware of such a decision in the ANC. We take the line from the aspirations of our people. We take the line from working with allied organizations that aspire for a non-sexist, non-racist, democratic society.
Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, thank you so much for your time.